Stress is often linked to a negative feeling and is often associated with anxiety. It is maybe our perception that our ability may not match the demand of the environment of the sport. We might not be able to handle the pressure of the situation. We need to manage our stress in sport to optimize performance levels. The reason for the physical responses to stress is because of the hormone adrenaline. This is released from the hypothalamus, which in turn increases heart rate, blood pressure, and the rich blood that circulates the body. If stress isn't controlled, then stress over time can have a negative impact on someone's performance. For instance, in the 2006-7 Ashes, a player experienced stress-related anxiety, which caused them to have a lack of sleep. So his performance levels decreased as he was in a state of fatigue. There are many internal and external factors of life that can cause stress. For instance, personal life, like family and friend issues, illness, or someone's occupation, so their job, or if they're not employed, bad experiences at work, bad environments to work in. Also, sporting environments can have an impact on someone's game and cause stress for them. So the importance of the game or event, the uncertainty that surrounds the event, so like a cup final or something like that in football, the frustration within the game, so conflict within a match against teammates or the ref, also the ref making bad decisions, and even the crowd can cause a player to experience stress. All of the causes of stress are known as the stressors. The stressor is the environment or thing that induces the stress. The stress response is the physiological changes that occur to the body as a result of stress, like an increase in heart rate and blood pressure, for example. Then the stress experience is the way you perceive the situation. The stress experience will change dependent on the confidence you have in a particular sport, and therefore our stress response will change accordingly. So in a sport that you're comfortable in, so for me, netball, what makes me stress isn't the crowd or my coach, it's conflict within the match. I don't like conflict within the game. So if a situation like that was to occur, then my stress response would be heightened. So my heart rate might increase, my blood pressure, because it's the way I perceive the situation, and that would be a stressful experience for me. There are two stages of stress, distress and eustress. Distress is a negative form of stress. It's an extreme form of anxiousness and nervousness. So, for example, for me, I don't feel comfortable skiing. Therefore, this would give me stress if I had to experience skiing. However, eustress is a good form of stress that gives you a feeling of fulfillment. So relating back to me, I feel really comfortable playing netball again. So when delivering a free pass in netball, this is eustress for me because I feel comfortable in the situation and I know what I'm doing. The stages of eustress are, first, that is a demand that the athlete has to tackle. This could be the last round in a boxing match, the last 5 minutes of a football cup final. Next, the athlete has a perception of the demand. If it is eustress, then they have a positive perception. They feel the demand as a challenge. This in turn will increase the athlete's arousal levels, so the outcome will be an increased performance levels due to an increase in motivation and energy of the athlete. However, the stages of distress start the same as the stages of eustress, so there has to be a demand, so like boxing or football, but the athlete's views of the demand are negative, therefore increases negative arousal, so cognitive and somatic arousal. So our heart rate increases, negative thoughts. So we perceive the demand as a threat, So the outcome of this stress causes a decrease in our performance levels. The stress management techniques within sports are the same as anxiety management techniques, but I forgot to mention that biofeedback records heart rate, blood pressure, body temperature, etc. But it can be very expensive, so not all players and athletes will be able to experience this technique. But like the same as anxiety, the processes are the same. So positive self-talk, so increasing like your motivation, breathing techniques, so delivering that oxygen to the working muscles in preparation for exercise, but also like it helps you calm down and stuff like that. Salier's 1956 theory is the most widely accepted theory to describe our body's response to stress. It suggests that our bodies can experience a fight or flight response. So firstly, an alarm reaction happens. This is when the sympathetic nervous system increases blood pressure and heart rate. There is a resistance that the body has. So the parasympathetic nervous system tries to combat the alarm reaction to try and decrease the heart rate and blood pressure. If the parasympathetic nervous system can't resolve this, then this can lead to exhaustion. So this is our body's initial reaction to a certain situation. So we can either run, so flight, if the problem can't be resolved, or we stay and fight, so our body has resolved the issue. The physiological responses that occur during this, so the sympathetic nervous system increases heart rate, blood pressure, and the O2 blood is redirected to the working muscles. There is an increase in heat production to prepare the body for exercise. These increases are responsible for either a fight or flight response. An example is if a player on your team gets injured and you are called up from the bench, your sympathetic nervous system will be initiated to prepare your body for exercise. However, the parasympathetic nervous system, these responses help you relax after the sympathetic nervous system response has taken place. It helps you combat the effects that the sympathetic nervous system has. So therefore it decreases breathing rate, decreases heart rate, decreases body temperature, helps your muscles to relax, therefore calms you down so that you are relaxed during the game.